We've already been talking on this programme about energy efficiency, but what about if you've got damp and mould, as in the 7 Towers high-rise flats in North Belfast? This has been spoken about on a number of occasions in the past, and there have been major inquiries.
First, though, residents of the 7 Towers flats in the New Lodge area of North Belfast have been campaigning against a proposed housing executive project to improve living conditions there, claim a report commissioned by the executive itself backs up their concerns.
The 7 Towers blocks were thrown up in the 60s, very shoddily built, have caused long-term problems. And a couple of years ago, the residents, with the support of the project, got together to tackle the damp, the fungus, the sewage coming through the sinks, the heating problems, all the rest of it, and have, managed to get some small tangible outcomes.
For the last 3 years, people who have been written out of decision making that affects every day of their lives, in housing, in health, in the conditions of their children, themselves, their families, the humiliation to be written out, be involved in the ordinary day-to-day decisions which affect you. That's what rights are about. Fundamentally, human rights, which is about a very simple thing, is the right to dignity.
I've lived, as I say, in the Towers for over 21 years, and for years there was nothing. It's in a big state of disrepair. Even if you take the flats out of the equation, just houses around that area, if you look at them and you think, well, wait a minute, the housing executive owned these, and it's years and years, it's 20 odd years since anything's been done. There was nothing for the residents to help a mediator with the housing executive or anything. If we had problems, it was ring the housing executive and we were ignored. We were non-people.
I have currently been in these flats now, in April, 5 years, with my wee lad Connor, who is 8. Well, Connor has quite bad asthma, and his room is riddled with damp, and numerous times they've come out and they've seen me and they've told me that it's condensation. There is no way that it's condensation because it spreads down the walls and stuff and across them. This flat is not suitable for anybody to be living in, like the problems you have with it. The balcony floods, the 2 bedrooms both have dampness, there's water coming out of one plug. At Christmas there was a leak from number 9 and it came the whole way down. The light fell through in the kitchen. They never fix it properly. Never. Like they'll come out and they'll do wee half jobs, like the kitchen light. They come out, the kitchen ceiling was near falling through, and they come out and just put a new light in and then walked away. Like they didn't fix the cracks, they didn't fix the things that you could see. Like, you're trying to do things for your house and they're coming out and not even helping you to fix the problems that's there. No, we'll house you, we'll give you somewhere more suitable.
High-rise living is not suitable for young children. It stops development, important development, and it's been proved that living in conditions like they were is not good for young children.
It's not fair for my child to be the only child left in this block of flats, and he doesn't have no freedom and he's not allowed to do things that other kids do because of the circumstances that he does live in.
The pipes, it says one of the pipes busted behind the toilet. When I was coming up, I was stuck in the pipes outside. The whole toilet come up, the plumber was here. He had the map down it to try and stop it. He says you couldn't stop it, it's out of control. And a couple of housing executives men came in and the water was going out into the lantern, dropping down the stairs in the ground floor. And I went down onto the woman below me too. There's it there. There's it all there. And I couldn't do much about it. I left it in the hands of the executive and they never got back to me now. And they've done no repairs for me in this suite. Oh, it's been well over a year since it happened. Just put plastic sheeting down the floor and went on. Never came back out. Didn't even paint the board, it took off in the bathroom. Left it the same colour that it is. They're not cooperating at all, or response off them whatsoever. I've lost this house, a lot of it. I had this house gorgeous, lovely. This was a great house, flat. Till it came that there, I went up in the air. I was sitting here for Christmas, I had to burn every radiator in this house to dry it out. It didn't do me no good. My electric was going up sky high.
Started here. It spread. It was at 3:45 in the morning. I was woke up by my smoke alarm. I got the girlfriend out onto the balcony and just waited until the fire crew came to rescue us, because I didn't want to open the door because I didn't know what I was going to face, because it was so hot. And it spread into the flat facing you here, which is Mr. Mercer's flat. The light on Mercer. Right, as you can see here,
yes, the box and all that trying to clean everywhere. Clean my mate.
They allocated him this flat without coming in and cleaning it.
Where's the door? Nice bathroom.
Bathroom. As you can see, the damage is done there. And right up this hall.
I'm doing my best.
He can't clean it. He's not able to clean it.
I'm sick. I can't do my best and trying to get. Okay, I've got all ours, but I can't do everything myself. Can't do everything myself. I'm not an octopus.
I feel bad about it. I feel really disgusted over him. Disgusted over him, to be honest with you. It's just a pain in the ass. I swear to God, it is.
Aye, but they're not doing the inside. Get their act together. Get their act together, that's it.
This group started up, and it seemed like a good idea that for once there was some people interested in not only working with the residents and for the residents, but actually making people like the Housing Executive and the DSD accountable.
I think the work of the residents group's very good. They really do care about people's needs and trying to help people. Like, you know, before I was put in contact with Usins, I was phoning the Housing Executive every single week and they were just telling me the same thing over and over and over and over again. And then when I contacted Usins and you put me in touch with the North Belfast, that was the first proper response that I'd ever had from the Housing Executive. Like, you know, 5 years going without a response is a long time.
Well, for many years we suffered sewerage problems, which the Housing Executive had told us for years they couldn't do anything about. But again, through pressure and from the group and work done by the group, we did eventually get that sorted. Well, there was a protest held around Christmas time where Father Christmas took his helpers outside the Housing Executive to protest about certain conditions. There was a protest a few weeks ago where 3 or 4 members of the group took in total 42 complaints from different residents in the towers.
Our flats are freezing. Everything's falling apart. There's no heat, nothing whatsoever. There's dampness and mould and everything.
In winter it's a nightmare because it costs me almost £40 a week just to keep my economy 7 going, and I need to keep warm because of my medical conditions. So as I say, it's very expensive. We're paying more for our heating. Why?
And the heating that we have, Economy 7, is far too dear. I'm on my own and I find it very hard to keep warm. I would use about £35 a week on electric and I live off £160 a fortnight.
You're paying that money and not even feeling warm in your home. We're saying that's no good, and that they should be looking at placing a good, efficient but economical heating system.
They wouldn't want to live in our flats. I'd love them to come and stay with me for a couple of nights just to see. Well, I think one night would do it. They would be too cold.
All we're asking for as residents is a decent standard of living, that our homes are warm, that our homes are damp free, and you know that We get what everyone else gets, basically. They're our lives. We live there. All we're asking for is a say in what you're doing to our homes.
The Housing Executive are proposing to use PVC cladding on each of the 7 blocks at a cost of £7 million. The organisation hope this, along with pitched roofs and PVC windows, will reduce heat loss and prevent damp in the 450 flats housed in the towers.
Well, we find we've just had conflicting information from the Housing Executive. One minute it's going to sort these issues out, then it's not going to deal with the damp, it's not going to deal with the cold. You know, we're asking, what is it going to do? This is a lot of money being spent. All we're asking is it going to deal with the damp, the coldness, and etc.?
Putting cladding on isn't going to fix the problems that's inside the flats. You know what I mean? It's not going to fix the social problems inside the flats. It's not going to fix people's health problems inside the flats. You know what I mean? They think they're going to put this up and it's going to solve all these things, but it's not.
Well, we've read the report that they're going on, which says it won't, that it'll make it colder, noisier and damper. So why pay £7 million to make things worse?
They're doing all this work outside. It's the inside they want to deal with, the blocks of flats, not the outside. Do the inside first, put the roof on first, do the inside, and then do the outside blocks. They need big work done on the inside of these blocks first. People can't see you, and that's what I said, they can't see in your flat, they only see the outside of the flats.
But I think you notice at the moment they're sort of planting bushes and trees and trying to make the place look very nice, which is grand, but then there are so many problems inside. Maeve House is one of the blocks of flats that has just had £22,000 spent on paving and plants put at the bottom of the building. Now, when the workmen started that, people were coming to me saying, Angie, my windows are falling out and they're putting plants in. Spend the money where it's needed first. When you've got all the flats right and the bricks right, then plant your little gardens. We'll love them and we'll look after them maybe. But first of all, we want our homes sorting out. That actually, after getting advice, after looking into it, having many, many meetings with executive, if they carry on with what they're proposing, basically they're going to waste £7 million.
I would start putting into damp proofing the walls and putting new kitchens into them and new bathrooms and trying to fix them up inside before they start trying to fix the outside of them. I think it's silly, like.
We bring in international experts, basically human rights experts on housing issues. We then bring all the evidence that we have collected, whether it's about the dam or families or whatever the issues are. Then if the Housing Executive and the DST are then asked to respond to the questions not only asked by the group itself but also by the international panel.
It's no good simply protecting the fabric of the building, which some say the cladding is designed to do, without sorting out the problems of providing a good home for people. That, in the end, is humanity. That's what people want.
Well, we presented the Housing Executive and the DSD with a proposal that the professors Green and Ormandy had put together for us on getting the sort of issues that the residents want and need. What we would like to happen now is not only for the executive to read it, to comment on it, to act on it. If we had problems, it was ring the Housing Executive and we were ignored. We were not people. The more of us there is, the bigger our voice will be.
And we can all get together and just go to the Housing Executive and protest. Half the people out there in those doesn't know what's written in here.
The more powerful we become, the bigger our voices. Just slapping some plastic on the outside isn't going to help those buildings stay up for another 40 years.
Put the money inside and not the outside. Because people still live inside, not the outside, is
They're our lives. We live there. All we're asking for is a say in what you're doing to our homes.
For the last 3 years, people who have been written out of decision making that affects every day of their lives, in housing, in health, in the conditions of their children, themselves, their families. The humiliation to be written out, be involved in the ordinary day-to-day decisions which affect you. That's what rights are about. It's about a very simple thing. It's the right to dignity.
Okay? Is that a wrap?